A Russian missile strike overnight has killed at least 4 people in the western part of Ukraine. Ukrainian officials are calling it the worst attack on civilian infrastructure in the region since the war began. Video shows destroyed buildings as rescuers search through the debris for survivors. Meanwhile, Russia is blaming Ukraine for several drone attacks in the area around Moscow early Tuesday, including near an airport. The Russian Defense Ministry says 4 of the drones flying in the city were shot down by air defense systems. A 5th was intercepted by electronic jamming before it crashed. The attack prompted authorities to briefly restrict flights at one of Moscow's airports. Ukraine has not claimed responsibility for those drones. As our next guest writes, drones are at the heart of precision fire. This and other technology have changed the face of war in the 21st century, showing the, quote, paradox of the war is that mass and technology are intimately bound together. Joining us now, defense editor at The Economist, Shashank Joshi, whose latest piece is titled "The War in Ukraine Shows How Technology is Changing the Battlefield." Thank you so much for joining us. I'll let you flesh out the point you make in the piece, which is that drones, although they are called precision drones generally, are not always so precise, and that they are, in fact, changing the war in Ukraine. What are some examples that you've seen out there?
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. I think the most important lesson of this report that I've written is that we are seeing technologies of sensing that were beyond what we could have imagined 30, 40 years ago. You have drones that are filling the skies over the battlefields in Ukraine. I was there a few weeks ago. I was told that above Bakhmut, at the peak of that battle for the eastern city, there were about 50 drones in the sky from both sides. And you, of course, have satellites, you have radars, you have all sorts of other sensors. And what this means is that you have a battlefield that is increasingly transparent. It is getting increasingly difficult for anyone on the ground, any vehicle, any tank, any troop, to survive and move without being seen and without being struck. And I think that has profound implications for how armies have to adapt. They have to hide, they have to disperse, they have to learn how to dig trenches again. They have to learn how to practice radio silence to avoid giving away their location. But ultimately, these drones and other forms of surveillance are being stitched together using digital networks with artillery and other weapons to create these kill chains that can strike targets within minutes or seconds of detection. And that is a really fundamental shift. But the main point of this report is to say that doesn't mean war is becoming bloodless or it's becoming sterile. Ultimately, it is increasing attrition and it is increasing casualties.